If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Epictetus, you want confidence, and you imagine it as something other people simply have. A natural force, a gift, a personality trait someone is lucky enough to be born with. You imagine confident people waking up each morning with certainty in their voice and power in their posture, as if something inside them just knows they are capable. But here's the truth you rarely hear. Confidence is not a personality trait, it is a skill. A skill built slowly, painfully, deliberately, through friction, discomfort, and repeated failure. Lack of confidence is not a flaw. It is simply a lack of evidence. Evidence that you can act, evidence that you can endure, evidence that you can handle things even when afraid. You don't become confident by thinking. You become confident by doing, by accumulating proof that you can survive life. You think your problem is low confidence, but your real problem is low self-trust. You don't trust yourself to follow through. You don't trust yourself to speak honestly. You don't trust yourself to start. You don't trust yourself to finish. You don't trust yourself to fail without falling apart. Self-confidence is not built from affirmations or empty positivity. Confidence is built through contracts with yourself, small promises kept consistently. When you say you will do something and you do it, even in the smallest things, your identity shifts. You stop seeing yourself as someone who hopes and start seeing yourself as someone who acts. Confidence rises naturally from this. Confidence is remembered success, not big successes, small ones stacked quietly day after day. The Stoics understood this deeply. They didn't stand tall because they believed they were invincible. They stood tall because they practiced becoming unshakable. They built inner strength deliberately. They faced fear deliberately. They challenged themselves deliberately. They didn't wait for confidence. They created it through discipline. But you expect confidence to appear before discipline. You want to feel brave before speaking. You want to feel capable before acting. You want to feel ready before beginning. Confidence doesn't work like that. The feeling comes after, never before. Every confident person you admire became that way because they moved while afraid. They acted before certainty. They stepped forward before readiness. They failed, then rose, then failed again. And every time they rose, confidence grew. Confidence is simply the memory of the times you didn't give up. So why do you feel so insecure? Because you break your promises to yourself. Because you avoid discomfort. Because you don't expose yourself to challenges that prove your capability. Because your standards are external, built on validation, approval, attention. Because you keep comparing your inner doubts to someone else's outer image. Because you think confidence comes from perfection, when in reality it comes from resilience. A confident person is not someone who never doubts. A confident person is someone who knows they can move even with doubt. Doubt is natural. Fear is natural. But when doubt becomes paralysis, fear becomes identity, and hesitation becomes habit, your self-trust dissolves. And without self-trust, confidence cannot survive. So how do you rebuild it? You start small. Stoics called this training the mind the way athletes train the body. Confidence grows through repetition. Start with tiny acts that contradict your fear. Speak up when you normally stay silent. Say no when you normally say yes out of guilt. Ask a question you're afraid to ask. Begin a task before you feel ready. Take responsibility instead of hiding. These micro acts of courage are the seeds of confidence. You cannot jump to unshakable self-belief. You must climb to it, step by step, proof by proof, experience by experience. Another truth: confidence is built by becoming competent. Skills create confidence. Effortful practice creates confidence. Knowledge creates confidence. When you invest in yourself, through learning, through repetition, through commitment, you become harder to shake. Confidence flows from competence, and competence flows from practice. If you want to feel confident speaking, speak more. If you want to feel confident working, work more. If you want to feel confident physically, train your body. If you want to feel confident socially, expose yourself to conversations. There is no shortcut. Stoicism also teaches the power of neutrality. You lose confidence because you judge yourself too harshly. You treat every mistake as a personal attack, every flaw as proof that you're broken. But the Stoics insisted, mistakes are data, not identity. Wrong actions don't make you wrong. Weak moments don't make you weak. Failure doesn't make you a failure. When you remove emotional drama from your mistakes, confidence becomes easier to build because you stop treating errors as evidence against yourself. Confidence requires self-respect, and self-respect requires self-honesty. You must look at who you are today without flinching, without escaping, without excuses, not to shame yourself, but to understand yourself. A person who knows themselves deeply, their strengths, their weaknesses, their fears, their values, becomes unshakable because external judgment loses its power. When you know who you are, no one can tell you who you are. That is confidence. Another part of confidence is embracing discomfort. Comfort weakens you. Comfort makes you fragile. Comfort convinces you that difficulty is danger, that adversity is a sign something is wrong. But the Stoics trained themselves to see discomfort as a forge, a place where character is made. If you want confidence in hard moments, you must expose yourself to small, hard moments daily. Not overwhelming challenges, small, controlled ones. Wake up early, limit distractions, do something physically demanding. Resist temptation, practice discipline even when no one sees you. These small battles prepare you for the real ones. And then there is purpose. A person without purpose will always lack confidence because they have nothing inside strong enough to override fear. When your life has direction, a mission, a principle, a value system, confidence becomes almost automatic. Purpose pulls you forward even when you doubt yourself. Purpose silences fear. Purpose creates momentum. The Stoics were unshakable because they had clarity, virtue, character, responsibility, duty. They didn't need to feel confident. Their purpose carried them. And here is the final truth. Confidence is not the belief that you will always succeed. Confidence is the certainty that you can survive failure. Once you internalize that, fear loses control over you. Because what can life do to someone who knows they can rise again? Self-confidence is not loud. It is not arrogant. It is not dramatic. It is calm. It is grounded. It is earned. It is trained. And it begins the moment you decide to stop waiting for confidence and to start behaving like someone who is building it. Keep small promises. Face small fears. Seek small discomforts. Build small skills. And over time, the person you become will no longer need confidence as motivation. Confidence will be the natural state of someone who knows, I can handle whatever comes. That is real confidence, and it is already within your reach.